There, I waited this time for you to put your drink down.
I appreciate that. I was
Aren't you
like,
proud of me? I usually catch you mid-drink just to be that guy, but I thought I would give you that extra moment to put the drink down first.
I've gotten so used to it. I'm like, take a sip. Oh shit! Oh god. Okay, he's not gonna. Should I?
No, I wouldn't do to you, my friend Kellen. I wouldn't torture you like that.
Brad,
not
that's very
7
funny.
or 8 times in a row.
Hello, Brad.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. It's been a long day, and I'm glad that it's finally time to do whatever this is.
Whatever this is. You had a long day celebrating St. Patrick and his quest to rid the Isle of Ireland of snakes. Is that what you spent a long time working on?
There was a little bit of that. I definitely have some Irish whiskey beside me that I had been sipping on.
Very nice, sir.
Just to stay on brand there. But,
yes.
It's been a long day, but a good day.
Okay.
And now finally the best part is here.
Here we are. Here we are, Brad. We are talking. We are enjoying ourselves. We are reminiscing, as we always do in the beginning. And Brad, this is not the first time we've talked this week. We, in fact, recorded 2 podcasts that we pimped ourselves into.
It's true. On last week's stream, we sort of accidentally invented a new podcast that we forced ourselves into.
Mm-hmm.
And so we recorded some on the weekend. I don't know exactly when that's getting released. I'm assuming sometime soon we'll make that happen.
Sometime soon, absolutely. Yeah, but I think for fans of you and I, the fact that we randomly stumbled into this idea of, let's record a podcast about us watching The Big Bang Theory and hating it, we did it. And in fact, the first episode, not as bad as we thought. The second episode, we really hated it.
We both really hated it a lot. But it was fun to talk about. And it'll be much more fun to talk as we go. I'm sure it'll get more and more entertaining to talk about as the show devolves into your nonsense.
Absolutely.
So I do have a question for you, though.
Okay.
Where's my money, Terrett?
I'm trying.
Sorry, I just had to. I won $10 on the last stream, and I haven't seen that $10 happen. So
hey, that money's going to come to you. I mean, that's the thing about the Canadian government right now. That money, unfortunately, it's caught up in escrow and exchange rate. I want to make sure you're getting the most out of it, Brad.
Sure.
I did appreciate the fact that is why you were probably using that clip from The Big Lebowski in your TikTok. I was like, this is a choice. This is a choice. I love it.
Of course. It just had to be done. But I do actually have...
You do have a question.
I do have like an actual thing. It's sort of related to the podcast, actually, if we want to get right into a quiz.
Let's get into a quiz. Let
me just pull up the quiz here. If I can get my screen to share the right tab, that would be good. There we go. This, of course, is a which Big Bang Theory character are you quiz.
No.
Had to be done. You know it had to be done. So we're going to start with pick a breakfast. Oatmeal, fruit and yogurt, bran flakes, Fruit Loops, pancakes, or French toast.
French toast is my favorite, yes.
French toast. Okay. Life is a biological process, a struggle, what you make it, or a puzzle.
What you make it.
Okay. Love is unnecessary, unrequited a lot of the time, what makes the world go round, worth making sacrifices for, confusing, or for stupid people.
What makes the world go round? I like that.
All right, nice. Your friends would describe you as sweet, moody, funny, confident, intelligent, thoughtful, unique, or stubborn.
Thoughtful. I think my friends would consider me thoughtful of all those.
Okay. I would agree with that. As one of those friends, I would agree with that.
Yes.
You're at a party. You don't really go to parties. Show off your dance moves. Drink all the wine. Are the life and soul, naturally. Hover by the fridge or get your flirt on. All those flirty TikToks lately.
Well, what would I be doing if I was at a party? Probably hover by the fridge. I like hanging out in kitchens at parties. I think the kitchen is my natural sort of place at a party.
Fair. I can get down with that. A good kitchen is a good place to be at a party. I would say it's a very East Coast Canadian thing to just have parties in the kitchen. Like the entire party is the kitchen. I'm sure it's sort of a Southern thing too in the state.
I was going to say it feels like a very Midwestern thing because that's where most of the parties happen.
Maybe everyone likes food. I guess humanity in general. All right. So the most important thing in life is having fun, recognition, love, structure, family, or success.
The most important thing in life is probably having fun. I think that is tough. Like this is like, for me, it's between love and having fun. And I guess I'm going to say having fun. I'm going to say having fun for this one.
All right. Weekends are for working out, sleeping, gaming, catching up on Doctor Who, doing laundry, or partying. Are you a party animal, Kellen?
I'm not a party animal. No, I'm not a party animal, Brad. In fact, a party with more than 10 people, I'm not going to function very well at personally. Sure. The weekends are for, I guess, of those, I guess I would say, none of these speak to me what a weekend to be.
None of the above.
None of the above. So I guess of all of them, I'm going to say catching up on Doctor Who. I guess it's that or doing laundry.
It's up to you.
Yeah, I'll say catching up on Doctor Who.
All right. Pick a song.
Oh, dear.
We got Thinking Out Loud. Girls Just Want to Have Fun. Smarter Than You. Silence is Golden. Crazy in Love, Shake It Off, or Rocket Man?
Rocket Man.
All right. Pick a character. Carrie Bradshaw, Laura Ingalls, Frodo Baggins, Aquaman, The Doctor, Harry Potter, Indiana Jones, or Buffy?
I'm going to stick with The Doctor. We're going to stick with that sort of stuff right there.
Doctor themed. Sure. If A equals B, then A plus C equals something to do with Mars being retrograde. 7 ? B plus C or
I'm going to say
All right, it's calculating
the results. There we go. I think that makes a lot of sense. Fair. I've only seen 2 episodes with Penny, and I think she resonates the most with me so far.
Sure. She seems like a real human person, at least.
Yes, as opposed to the rest of the characters.
Yeah, they definitely don't. The rest of the characters are trash people.
Totally trash. Total trash.
So anyway, I just thought that would be a stupid thing to do this week.
It's excellent. Yeah. I guess the hard thing is I know that the actress who plays Penny is like a pretty conservative sort of person, but again, we're not talking about the actress. We're simply talking about. Man. Okay. There we go.
Not shocking anyone. I'm sure I got Sheldon when I did that.
Oh, not shocking at all. Not shocking at
even though he aggravates me in the show.
Of course.
I get it.
Brad, I want to ask you a question. Again, we're going to stick with some food themes at first because I think it's definitely a little bit something, the place where I sort of go that way. Brad, what is your favorite restaurant?
My favorite restaurant. Have to go out into the world.
You have to go out into the world. You have to go out into the world. You can't simply order in. You have to go to a restaurant. Again, this can be a chain. This can be a local eatery, fancy, Dirty Spoon. What's your favorite restaurant, and why is it your favorite restaurant, Brad? I know you don't like going out. There has to be a place that you were like, you can be like, oh, it's only booths of one, right? And I get to eat with the blanket over my head or something like that. There has to be something that you enjoy, right?
Okay, this is like, it sounds stereotypically Canadian, but there's a place called Smoke's Poutineery.
Smokes
here in Ottawa.
Okay.
They just do all types of weird types of poutine, like pulled pork poutine, and like just like gourmet is probably not the right word for a poutine thing, but like weird categories of poutine.
So like an example of like duck confit, like sort of poutine that way, or like what would
like spaghetti, but it's actually poutine. Like different, just random. They do like. I think it's Gouda and some other kind of cheese, like mac and cheese, but like crazy fancy mac and cheese. But they put it over like home fries and like have cheese curds all through it and everything. So it's sort of like a combination poutine and mac and cheese thing. Like there's a lot of like weird fusion stuff, but it's very good. It's disgusting and terrible for you. I'm sure it's knocked years off my life, but it's
of course. Brad, do you want to explain what poutine is? Because I don't know if everyone knows what poutine is.
So poutine is essentially there's a bunch of sort of varieties, but fries and gravy and cheese curds is sort of the base for poutine. A good thick beef gravy and squeaky cheese curds.
Gotta have very squeaky. The sort of cheese curds that just like eek against your teeth. Oh, exactly. So good.
They just had just the right amount of meltiness with the hot gravy and everything. It's the good stuff.
And you eat poutine with a fork, correct?
Usually, yeah.
Usually. Only a Neanderthal would be eating poutine with their hands, or they'd be using
that would be messy. Yeah.
Yes.
I've seen places that use like sporks because you can get like the melty cheese stuff and the gravy and everything in it. But not really finger food.
Yeah.
Style fries.
No. There was a poutine place here in Chicago that failed pretty miserably because here in Chicago they got to like do everything big, and rather than just having like, hey, just here's your basic poutine, they had to have like deep dish pizza poutine. They had to have Chicago style hot dog poutine. It was like all these Chicago Midwestern style foods that they had then adapted and deconstructed and turned into poutine. And it was just like, no, just make poutine. Like that's all it needs to be. Like it's good on its own. We don't need to like signaturize it to be Chicago style. Just it's fries, gravy, and cheese curds. How do you do wrong with that, right?
You would think there's a lot of pretty bad poutine for some reason. I don't know, but it can be very good.
Yeah.
Even though that makes me super Canadian, probably. Whatever.
I don't know if it makes you super Canadian. I mean, I guess does all of Canada eat poutine? I mean, I guess when I think about
most of it.
Most of it, okay. It's like a Quebec thing that sort of has disseminated across.
It's leaked all the way across.
There you go. Well, it's fries and
there's literally like fish and chip poutine out east, like in Nova Scotia,
where
you could get amazing fish and chips, but also there's like it's on poutine instead of. Like with regular fries, you would get poutine with it. It's actually really good.
That sounds really. After a heavy night of drinking, Brad, that sounds fantastic. Maybe when we do the road trip, when we go up to the Northeast, we go see some of our friends who are up there in New Hampshire. We'll head up to Nova Scotia from there, and we'll drink some Crystal Skull vodka, and we'll eat some of that. That sounds delicious.
That sounds like a good plan. What about you? You got a favorite restaurant?
Do I have a favorite restaurant? I really enjoy sort of like noodle joints. So if it's like if it doesn't matter if it's Thai, doesn't matter if it's pho, like I just like going and eating like noodles and hot broth is always good that way. There's a place here in Chicago called High Five Ramen that is a basement ramen joint underneath a barbecue restaurant that has 5 chairs that serves like Negroni slushies and then really hot ramen. So like very Americanized, like very spicy ramen There's no line. There's no signage. You either know where this door is or you don't know where this door is, and it's great. Nice. And it's just kind of like first come, first serve. When they're out of noodles, when they're out of broth, they're done because that's what they do. And it's really, really excellent. It's really, really nice. Veggie, meat style, all different stuff, but also very, very spicy. And it's signature. It's the thing that I think I really like about it is I've never had a bowl of noodles like it before. And it's the sort of food that I don't understand why people eat hot wings. Like, I don't get the whole, like, hey, let's eat really spicy hot wings and kick our ass this way. Sure. I love having a bowl of this and just like sweating. You're eating this and you're just like, oh, just like this visceral sort of feeling. And just having such an incredible time while eating it.
That sounds pretty good. I do love me some ramen.
Yeah, but I also like. I mean, Nick already mentioned it. Denny's. A Denny's is fantastic. A Denny's is really, really excellent. Like a Dirty Spoon, like chain, like a Perkins or a Collins or a Denny's or a Cooper's. All of these are really, really nice. Where you can just walk in and be like, "Yo, I'll have the pancakes." I've never been to a Waffle House, but I hear Waffle House is really good that way, where you can just walk in and it's good no matter what. So.
I have apparently only been to terrible Waffle Houses, according to several people that I know that love them. But I've only been to Waffle Houses across Pennsylvania and a little bit in New York.
You say across Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is as wide as Texas, Brad. If you've been to the middle of Pennsylvania, is nothing but coal mines and broken dreams. So
true.
What were you doing in the middle of Pennsylvania?
My wife is from Pennsylvania.
I did not know that, Brad. You married in America?
When we met, she was living in Pennsylvania. She's originally from Texas, but she moved away when she was little.
I did not know that you married an American.
Yeah. It's complicated. It was very complicated.
Oh my gosh, I bet.
But yeah, I am not a fan of Waffle House, but I have been told that I need to go to different ones.
Oh yeah,
the ones that I were at sucked apparently.
Well, there you go. Or maybe you're too high class for a Waffle House. Maybe that's what it is.
I doubt that. That doesn't seem very likely at all. I'm definitely like with Nick, like 2 a.m. at a Denny's, like ordering whatever nonsense. Like that's exactly my style. So like it would make sense that I would love Waffle House, but somehow I was not a fan of them.
It just doesn't
a couple
work.
That I've been to.
There you go.
Can't share the double waffle.
Can't share the double waffle.
Kellen, I have a question from you that was in the chat. I think it was last week.
I missed this question. Let's hear it.
Yeah, Kari. I don't know what we were talking about, but Kari spotted a tattoo and she just yelled in the chat, "What is that tattoo?
What is the tattoo?" I have a tattoo. We'll throw a little flex there for the people.
Sure.
Do you want the funny answer or do you want the real answer?
Yes, funny first, and then the real one, I think.
Usually when I tell people, like, hey, what's that tattoo say? It's like, oh, it says "go fucker" in French, and that's enough. That's enough for people to be like, okay, that's enough. That's enough that way. Sure. This tattoo, I was reading George Orwell's Down and Out in Paris and London, a autobiographical experience about his time being a young journalist living in Paris and living in London and like eating nothing but bread and wine. That's all he could afford. And then living in sort of an attic and then working in the basement kitchen of Hotel X, a hotel that he can't name. And he talks about all of the sort of dingy, terrible, pirate-like people who work in this kitchen. And there's a character that he refers to as the débrouillard, which is what the tattoo says in French, who he sort of describes as this sort of like person who is sort of like always has a knife on him, always is ready for something. And the moment that he sort of describes is they run out of the special of lobster. He throws his apron down. He's like, I'll be back in 10 minutes, and comes back with 2 boxes full of oysters. And nobody asks any questions about how he got the oysters or where the oysters came from. He just has them. And I remember reading this in my early 20s and saying, like, God, I want to aspire to be something like that. And I worked in a tattoo parlor in the front desk, just like helping, kind of taking appointments, and everybody there wanted to give me tattoos. And I read this and I said, oh, I really like this. And then I said, all right, well, let me get this tattooed on my body. It's really great. Get it tattooed. It's great. Don't think about it. I moved to Chicago couple years later, and I live with a young woman who is from Paris, and she sees my tattoo and she's like, holy shit, I've never seen an American know what that word means. And I was like, well, what do you mean? She's like, well, it's kind of like if you showed up in a town naked, by the end of the day, you would have clothes, a bike, and you would be sleeping in someone's bed having sex with them. That's what a débrouillard does. They just know how to like exist and survive that way. And it was very, very meaningful to me to have this tattoo on my body, and for her to be like, that's awesome, because that's exactly who you fucking are. So that's what the tattoo is.
Yeah. That's great. That is excellent.
Yeah. I told a story to my son a couple weeks ago, and he's obsessed with this, that the original tattoo idea I had is on my chest. I wanted an old-timey boxer, like an old-timey American boxer, getting punched in the face by a horse with boxing gloves. That's what I wanted. I want the boxer here and the horse right here, and then punching like this. And I'm so happy that I don't have that tattooed on my body, because if I had that, then my whole body would be very different, and my whole life would be very, very different. So.
Sure, that seems like an extreme sort of change compared to a word.
Yeah. I've been thinking a lot about tattoos lately. I've been wanting to get another tattoo. There's a couple tattoo artists here in Chicago that I really like. I really like pine cones, Brad. I really like.
Nick's getting
a tattoo next week.
A new tattoo.
Yeah, tattoos are great. Tattoos are really, really great. I love a person with really detailed tattoo work. Someone who has like really meaningful tattoo, but I also really like it when people are just like, I don't know, I got this cherry when I was in Austin and I was drunk and I just liked it. I try not to be a snob about tattoos, because it's like a tattoo is a tattoo. Like, you have it, it's great. You don't have it, that's fine. But like, it's really cool when someone like has a story, or they take good care of the tattoos. But it's also cool when someone has a sleeve of a bunch of shit they've been through. And they're like, oh yeah, this tattoo, like my uncle Mickey was a Vietnam vet, and like he's the sort of guy who like went to Vietnam like 4 times because he was so bored he didn't want to do anything else. So he kept going back to Vietnam, and he's got a whole body full of tattoos. And oh yeah, this one's from here, and you just hear stories about their life that way.
Crazy. Yeah. If I end up with a tattoo, it will probably be a drunken situation. Well, I'll wake up. And did I get a tattoo? Man, now I got to find a mirror and figure out if that happened or not.
When did I get this tattoo? when did I get this tattoo?
Yeah, it would be something like that, most likely.
There you go.
So far, I've got none, but that could change at some point.
Who knows, Brad?
How drunk I get when the world is open again.
Oh, yeah. When the world opens back up, who knows? Who knows when that's going to happen?
When all of my drinking is done in the basement, there's very low risk of random tattoos happening. I mean, not zero necessarily, but not very low.
Very low.
Very low.
Very, very low. Brad, here's my question for you. Okay. Does a person's name influence who they become?
I think so. We talked about that a few weeks ago, I think.
Yeah, right?
What is it? Nominative determinism? However, I don't know how you would say it.
Yeah.
But somebody's name affecting their life.
Perception.
Yeah, I definitely believe that.
Yeah.
Stripper names and all that concept.
Do you think you have like a nom de plume? Do you have a name that you go by when you write online, or in your mind you're like, oh, if like this version of Brad is this? Do you have sort of an alter ego that you sort of assume sometimes?
Not really these days. I guess technically, when I was a teenager, I used to have like a couple of hacker aliases that I went by online on like IRC and things like that, but not really like that I kept track of or anything. They were sort of purposefully just sort of fleeting. Didn't attach to anything. But yeah, not really. I use my own full name for most social media things because I just don't want to come up with names for things.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not my jam.
Brad, what was your hacker name?
I'm not telling you that. It's very problematic. That's jeez. I might as well ask for my bank PIN number. It's probably still on lists somewhere.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure there's a CIA listing of like.
I'm pretty sure I'm beyond any sort of legal recourse for anything that I got up to back then. Wasn't anything interesting enough to still be relevant. But names you don't get those names.
You don't get those names. No. Because I'm sure there's some passwords, some usernames on some sites that you don't want to have that tracked to you. I get it.
Exactly. Yeah. They're separate for a reason.
They're separate for a reason. I love it. Again, I think the chat knows that the Brad is there's Brad. And
that's the Brad. So I still don't know like what the Brad is. That seems like the egotistical version of me or something. Like
I think the Brad is kind of like the dude, right? Like you are Brad, but you're also the Brad. You simply you as after you pass Brad, the followers of the Brad will reminisce and they will testify and go out and gospel what you said, completely ignoring everything that you ever said about don't do shit like this.
Right. That sounds horrifying to me. Thankfully, I'll be dead and won't care. Nick cracked it. How dare you, Nick? Don't be doxing me like that. Damn it. Now I got to go change all those usernames.
Hackerman69, fantastic name.
It's a good name.
So, Brad, I got two things for you.
Okay.
Would you rather do a little writing with me, or would you rather take a little quiz?
Let's take a little quiz. I gave you a little quiz, so it's only fair that you get to give me a little quiz.
We'll just kind of go through this, and Brad, we're going to go back to our first episode here. We're going to go back in time.
This is a test, then, is what you're saying.
It's not a test. It's a quiz. It's a test. It's not a test, right? We're going to talk about character alignment. We're going to talk about you.
Sure.
In terms of where you align on the good versus evil, chaotic versus lawful.
Yeah. This is what you were alluding to on Twitter.
This is what I was alluding to on Twitter, right? We're gonna see where you actually are, right? So for those of people at home, we think about 9 squares together in a giant square. We're thinking about on one end we have lawful meaning people who follow the law. On the other end we have chaos, people who do not believe in the law. On another spectrum, we have good, people who want to do good things. On another spectrum, we have evil. And then so you have lawful good, neutral good, chaotic good. We've got neutral good, neutral, true neutral, lawful, which is kind of odd, but it is what it is. And then we've got chaotic good, chaotic neutral, and chaotic evil, right? You've seen this sort of thing where you take your Star Wars characters, your Sex and the City characters, your Big Bang characters, and you put them in all the places, and that's what you do it that way.
Sure.
This comes from, I believe, from Dungeons and Dragons, and on the first very episode of this show, Brad and I rolled up a character together, a little Cobalt monk that we still need to play with, and he'd be a very, very fun character, but we never really knew what Brad's alignment was. So I found a little quiz for us to do. It's not a test, it's a quiz.
Okay.
So Brad, the first one, your family elders are expressing disapproval of you to the rest of the family. Do you accept the criticism and change your ways? Seek compromise with them, besmirch their reputation for those expressing disapproval as you ignore their scorn, or silence them any way you can?
I guess I would try to seek compromise, but if I couldn't, I would probably just ignore them.
Okay, all right. Ignore them. Unfortunately, not an answer here.
Yeah.
Brad, would you give up a promising career to aid the family in a time of need? In a heartbeat? Yes, but with reluctance. Only if I was certain I'd be able to return to my career soon, or no.
Yes, with reluctance.
With reluctance. Brad, would you betray a family member to advance your own career? Yes, without a twinge of guilt. Yes, if I could do it secretly. I'd resist the temptation, or I find the very idea abhorrent.
I would resist the temptation.
I would resist the temptation. And again, Brad, I asked you before if you have any temptations, and you was like, no, I'm not tempted by anything. Very good. Okay. If your family had arranged your marriage to someone loathsome, would you go through with it, proud to serve your family, agree, hiding your reluctance, subtly work against the union, or flee?
I would probably flee.
Very good.
Subtlety is not generally my forte.
No. Brad, you're estranged from your family. On his deathbed, you seek reconciliation. Excuse me, you're estranged from a family member. On his deathbed, I'm guessing your father or maybe your brother, who knows, an uncle. You seek reconciliation. Do you speak to him and hold your ground? Refuse to speak to him? Discuss your estrangement openly without rancor, or actively seek reconciliation and heed his dying words?
The second to last one there.
Discuss your estrangement openly and without rancor.
Yes.
Brad, a powerful but corrupt judge offers you wealth if you will testify against your friend Kellen. Do you condemn me and take the money? Take the money and testify, but try to keep your testimonial ineffective. Refuse the offer and refuse to testify. Testify on your friend Kellen's behalf, no matter the consequences.
You know what? I'd probably take the money, but throw the trial as much as I could.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. I think that's a good one.
Probably would. And Brad, then split it with you.
There you go. That's the scam we run, right?
Yeah. It's like those guys that keep getting on court TV, like roommates or whatever, that kept suing each other to get on court TV shows.
Brad, do you become close to friends or hold most people at a safe distance? I have an abundance of close friends. I have some close friends. I have few close friends. I try to keep people at a distance.
I would say I have few close friends.
Few close friends. Brad, have you ever betrayed a friend?
Have I ever betrayed a friend?
I've done so more than once, and I sometimes get away with it. I've done so once. I've been tempted to do so, but I've never gone through with it. I've never contemplated such a thing.
I don't think I've contemplated such a thing. I'm just not. It's very, like, I don't know, talking behind people's backs and things is never really. I'll just say things to their face.
Yes.
And they might hate me after, and we are no longer friends, but that's a different sort of.
That's a whole different thing. It's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Brad, how do you view lifelong commitment to a single romantic partner? I have or want such a romance. Such a romance would be ideal if it's achievable. I worry I'd miss out on what others have to offer. Tie yourself to one person. Huge mistake.
I would worry about missing out with things, I guess, with the second to last one.
There you go. Brad, do you insist on repayment when lending money to friends? Yes. And I write up a contract so there's no misunderstanding. Yes, but I try to be flexible about the exact terms. No, although I'd sure be nice to be repaid. No, they just owe me a favor.
No, but it sure would be nice to be repaid, I guess.
How Canadian answer. How Canadian of an answer.
Listen, you still owe me $10. What are
I know. Brad, are you still in touch with your childhood friends? No. Yes, we correspond regularly. Yes, we try to keep in touch. No, I move around too much, or no, I don't have anything in common with them anymore.
That last one, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brad, do you donate time and money to improve your local community? Yes, the needs of the community are my top priority. Yes, I donate as much time as I can once my own needs are met. No, I don't have enough time or money to spare. No, my local community would be a waste of my time and money.
Harsh.
The
second one, I guess.
Second one. Okay.
Although I don't know, like as much as I can might be a little. I don't know. There's a big gap between like as much as I can and no. Fuck everyone.
Yes, fuck them. Brad, your community is threatened with invasion.
Oh no.
Do you help to defend to your last breath? Defend the area with the rest of your community. Flee as soon as things look grim. Cut a deal with the enemy and act as a spy.
That's tricky because I would do that last one, but I would like be a double agent. Like I would play both ends, but I don't think that's part of the option.
Again, you can be a double agent as a spy. I think most spies are double agents.
Fair. Okay, let's go with the last one. Yeah.
All right, there we go. If you were injured and required immediate assistance, would members of your hometown agree to help you? Yes, because they know I do the same for them. Yes, because I'm generally liked in my hometown. Probably not because I'm distrusted in my own town. Definitely not. I made some enemies in my hometown.
I think that they would. I'm reasonably trusted in my hometown.
Okay. Do you respect the laws and authorities of the community? Yes, without question. Yes, they're generally the best way to govern. When it suits me, there are some laws I don't agree with. I don't pay attention to the authorities. They've got no hold on me.
I mean, they have some hold on me, sort of philosophically.
Okay, so maybe when it suits me?
When it suits me, I guess, would be.
I think there we go. Yeah. Again, Hackerman69.
Yeah, I can't claim to be fully lawful in that regard.
Brad, do members of your hometown shun, avoid, or mock you? Yes, their small minds can't handle anyone outside the norm. Some do, because I don't always fit in. No, I'm generally seen as normal. No, I've set the standard for what normal in my community is.
I would say that some do, yeah.
You're doing great here, Brad. Brad, you stand for office or seek to represent the interest of the community in some public manner.
Seems unlikely, but okay.
Extremely unlikely, but again,
sure.
We'll see what it is. To do so would be an honor, and I joyously accept. Of course, it's everyone's duty to do so. Only if no one else can handle the job. No, I don't want to be responsible for the community's welfare.
I would say that last one is probably...
There you go.
Yeah. And the community is probably better off without me in those types of positions anyway. So it's a win-win, really.
Brad?
Yes, Kellen?
Your country is racked with famine.
That's a shame.
Do you share what food you have with others? Eat as little as possible yourself and share the rest? Steal what food you need to survive? Steal as much food as possible, then sell it back to the community at a higher price.
I would steal what I need to survive.
There you go. There you go. Brad, if offered enough money, would you slip a poison into the king's drink?
It's very vague. Is the king good?
Do I
agree with the king?
Yes, I've done similar things before. Yes.
Confession time.
Yes, if I thought I could get away with it. No, although the vast sum of money would tempt me. No, I'd warn the king of the plot.
See, that would depend if I think the king is good or not.
That's the thing, Brad. You need to decide. Do you agree with King Trudeau? Do you believe that King Trudeau is a right and just king?
For legal purposes, this is a joke. It would depend on the king, but I could see a time when I would agree to poison them. Sure.
So yes, similar things before. Yes, so I thought I could get away with it.
If I thought I could get away with it.
Okay, there we go. Brad, a plague is sweeping across your country. Would you undertake a dangerous mission to find the cure? I don't see you scouring the world looking for the cure to COVID, by the way. Heal the sick as best you can. I don't see you doing that. Avoid contact with the sick or flee the country.
If it's just that country, yeah, I would probably flee the country.
There you go. There you go. Do you respect the law of authority of the rulers of the land? Yes. Long live the queen. Yes, our rulers are genuinely fair and just. No, a ruler is no better than anyone else. No, rulers are invariably corrupted by power.
I would say no, rulers are just like us, whatever the second to last one.
We're almost done, Brad. If you were offered a reasonably lucrative deal, would you spy for a hostile foreign power? Yes, because this nation could stand to be knocked down a peg. Yes, because the nation's secrets means little to me. No, because I might get caught. No, because I'd never violate the trust of the nation that of my nation puts in me.
Probably the second one.
Okay.
I don't care much about secrets. If I'm going to get money out of getting
Brad, you don't want to keep Alpha Flight a secret, right? The Canadian superhero team.
I just spill those beans all over the place.
Spill those beans everywhere. Brad, do you rely on the government to enforce contracts and property rights? Yes, because maintaining the rule of law is more important than the individual dispute. Yes, because the courts are best equipped to handle such disputes. You gotta be kidding me. The government can't even pave roads. Absolutely not. If I can't defend it myself, I don't deserve to have it.
The second to last one there. Government can't even pave roads.
I like it. If imprisoned, would you injure or kill others to escape? Yes. Serves them right for locking me up. Yes, they knew the risk they took with the job. No, except for minor wounds that they would heal easily. No, those guards are just doing their job.
I would say no, except for minor wounds. I'll kneecap some people if I need to get out.
Exactly. You're going to Batman your way out of that prison.
Yeah.
Brad, do you accept a noble right to treat badly the serfs who work on his or her land? Yes. They're lucky that they're not slaves. They're not slaves, they're serfs. Yes, because sometimes only fear will motivate them. No, nobles should rule as kindly as possible. No one has the right to treat another badly, period.
I would say no one has the right to treat another badly.
Oh, there we go. Brad, you've accidentally committed a crime.
Oh, no.
Do you turn yourself in and attempt to make a restitution to the victim? Turn yourself in, throwing yourself on the mercy of the court? Hide your involvement, lying if you have to, or try to pin the crime on me.
On you specifically?
On me specifically.
Okay, no, I would just try to hide my involvement.
Try to hide your involvement. Okay. Brad, if guilty, would you confess to a crime? Yes, because it is my duty to do so. Yes, because it might get me a lighter sentence. No, I'd make the magistrate prove my guilt. No, I try to prove my own innocence.
No, I would try to prove my own innocence.
Very nice. Very nice. All right, we're in the home stretch.
All right.
Would you express a revolutionary political opinion if threatened with punishment? Yes, I'd rather be punished than remain silent. Yes, somebody's got to speak the truth. No, although I might privately express my opinions to my friends. No, politics aren't worth getting worked up about.
The second one.
There you go. Yes.
I'm not great at staying quiet for very long.
There you go. Something I do enjoy about you, Brad.
for little bursts I can, but it doesn't last very long usually.
Brad, you're traveling to witness an assault. Excuse me, not traveling to witness. Jesus. Brad, you're going to go see a...
go witness this assault.
It's been a day.
Yeah.
Brad, while traveling, you witness an assault.
Sure.
You are ordered to testify, which will delay your travel significantly. Do you skip town at night to avoid testifying? Deny you saw anything? Remain reluctantly testifying and leave? Remain until the trial's conclusion in case further testimony is needed?
I would remain reluctantly and then bail as soon as I could. Yeah.
There you go. What is the best use of wealth? To help the destitute and less fortunate, provide for the needs of friends and family, to stay on top of the heap yourself, or not only to stay on top, but to keep others from climbing to your level?
Say to help friends and family.
Beautiful. We're learning a lot about Brad tonight. I'm loving this. Brad, when confronted by beggars, do you give generously? Give moderately? Give only what you wouldn't miss anyways, $1 or $2 at most, or ignore them as you walk by?
I would usually give moderately.
Very nice. By using magic, you could fool village merchants into thinking your copper pieces were made of gold.
Oh boy.
Do you? Yes, I'll buy as much as I can. Yes, but I'll only cheat the rich merchants. No, it's too risky. Or no, those merchants have families to feed.
I would cheat the rich merchants.
Very nice. Very nice, Brad.
Just the rich ones, though.
Just the rich ones, yes. Little Robin Hood in you.
Yeah.
Brad, you have 2 job offers. One pays more and the other is secure and steady. Do you choose? Definitely the lucrative job. Steady work sounds like drudgery anyways. Probably the lucrative job, although I'd look into the secure job. The secure job, unless the other job was outrageously lucrative. Definitely the secure job because I plan for the long term.
I would probably go with the lucrative job, but I would look into the
there you go.
Just
there you go.
The details. Yeah.
You'd go and work in the oil fields, but you would also look into becoming a CSA.
Sure.
What's the best plan to wealth? It's a matter of luck, being in the right place at the right time, staying flexible so you can take advantage of a good opportunity, following a long-term plan that incorporates comfortable level of risks, or hard work and perseverance.
Staying flexible for opportunities that arise.
Very good.
Sure, yeah.
And our last question, Brad. If you could accept a job or contract, would you try and finish the task even if it got much more dangerous? Yes, my word is my bond. Yes, because it's good to have a reputation for dependability. Yes, you can bet I'm renegotiating. Or if it's no longer a good deal, then the deal is off.
You can bet I'm renegotiating.
There we go. All right, Brad, here.
Yep.
Brad, you are, and this is not a surprise at all, true neutral.
I'm not shocked.
A true neutral character does what seems to be a good idea. They don't feel strongly one way or the other when it comes to good versus evil, law versus chaos, which is the most Brad thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Most neutral characters exhibit a lack of conviction, or rather bias and commitment to neutrality, such a character thinks of good as better than evil. After all, he would rather have good neighbors and rulers than evil ones. Still, he's not personally committed to upholding good as an abstract or universal way. Some good neutral characters, on the other hand, commit themselves to philosophically to neutrality. They see good, laws, evil, chaos as prejudices and dangerous extremes. They advocate in the middle way of neutrality as the best, most balanced road in the long run. True neutral is the best alignment you can be because it means you are acting naturally without prejudice or compulsion. However, true neutral can be a dangerous alignment when it represents apathy, indifference, and lack of conviction. Brad, incredible.
That sounds fair.
The next one, though, was, again, chaotic neutral. Your least was lawful evil, and then lawful good, which, again, so good.
Laws, I mean, whatever.
fuck it, right?
The separation between law and morality in my mind is very wide. Let's put it that way.
Well, thanks for sticking with that, Brad. That was very, very
No, that was fun. Not terribly a surprising result, but that was fun.
no, but that's okay. Lay some questions on me. Let's throw a couple at me this way, since we've been talking about you for a bit.
All right, let's see. Well, we learned a little bit about me there. Let's learn a little bit more about you. We heard, I think, a couple episodes back about the second time that you were almost hit by lightning.
Oh yeah,
but you didn't tell us about the first time.
The first time I was almost hit by lightning. The first time I was almost hit by lightning, I was camping in the woods of Oregon. We were out by the Three Sisters area, which is in sort of central Oregon. The hike up the Middle Sister is really great, but it's all shale, and shale is like tiny, sharp rocks, and you're hiking up this mountain, and it's incredibly difficult, and you get to the top and it's like a football field. It's an old a volcano that blew up, and it's beautiful. So what we were doing is we were hiking all the way around all three of the sisters, and what happens is in Eastern Oregon is you have these thunder storms that just come out of nowhere. It's these two sort of fronts that sort of hit each other, and you can see it in the distance, and just like the clouds just sort of billow and billow and billow, and you know there's going to be lightning, and a lot of times, especially later in the year when we were hiking, because there's not as many bugs, that there's going to be the chance of lightning and the chance of fires. So we are hiking. My brother and our two friends, Grant and Jeff, we're hiking. We're having an absolute blast. We're out, and we all can sense that the storm is coming. We're in an area where there's not a lot of cover, and we're kind of screwed that way. We're like, well, we can't necessarily stay here in the open. We can't go up the mountain. It's going to be too far for us to get under cover. So what we're going to have to either do is we're just going to have to hike and hope that nothing happens, or we're just going to get rained on, or we're just going to have to hunker down and make something. So we all agree, which is hike. And if it rains, it rains. Starts raining. It's feeling bad. It's really, really hot. It's hot rain. So that's when you know it's going to be a bad fucking storm. Yeah. And we all feel it. We can all feel the sort of the air around us start to change. We can all feel that there's electricity sort of around us. It's almost like you can kind of hear it in your ears. Your eardrums start to resonate a little bit. And we're hiking, and my brother Christian, who's just a year younger than me, he's in front, I'm in the back, and he just stops and he sort of turns, and we're all just kind of looking at each other. We're like, what the fuck's about to happen? What the fuck's about to happen? And about 20 feet to the right of me, lightning sort of strike. Yeah. And again, flash, bang, the biggest, loudest sound I've ever heard in my life. And all of us just start screaming out loud, because it's the most like, oh, I am an ape. I just saw the monolith, right? Like, it's just a thing where you're like, I can't believe that it sort of happened. And I can remember, I don't believe in my mind that I saw the lightning strike, but I was looking up and I saw the like the small sort of crack as it sort of came down. I'm crying. I've pissed myself as well. My hair is just on end, everything. And we're just laughing and screaming that this thing just happened. The grass is on fire, even though it's raining, right? It's raining, but it's not been raining long enough where the grass is actually wet. So the grass is on fire. And we just were like, well, what do we fucking do? So we try to put out the fire. We get the fire out. Because if you don't put out the fire, this is how wildfires start, right? This is how shit like this happens. We put the fire out. As we're just like, what the hell just happened? What in the world just happened? And we spent the next 2 days hiking, and we got home, and it was one of those things where we're just like, can you believe that happened? Can you believe that we almost got struck by lightning? Can you believe that absolutely happened for us? And it still is a story that when I see my brother, and we see lightning, it is sort of a scary sort of thing. We're like, oh shit.
Sure,
oh shit.
Yeah.
Which is also why when I was also a camp counselor out in the woods, I was like, I want to fucking see if this happened. Let's see if this happens again.
Craziness.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those things where like I don't want to like I don't want to encourage people to go and try and get struck by lightning because it's a terrible idea.
It seems like a bad plan.
It's a bad plan.
Kellen and Brad talking about stuff does not condone or suggest going out and trying to get hit by lightning.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a really surreal experience. And we were already exhausted, right? Like it's a 5-day hike around these mountains. We're carrying everything on our bags. It's wet. We're tired. And this sort of thing happens, and we have to just keep hiking through the rain. Like it's not like, oh my gosh, that was amazing. We have to literally say, if we stay here, we're only going to get more and more wet. So we have to keep moving. And so we're hiking, and there's more thunder because the storm doesn't stop. Like it's still going. And so we're like, holy shit, do we keep going? What are we going to do? Well, we have to keep going. So
craziness.
Yeah, man. Yeah. There you go. I get goosebumps talking about it, man. It's weird.
It is. Well, let's talk about something maybe a little bit lighter.
Okay.
Kellen,
nothing lighter than light, by the way.
So, cats or dogs? You know, I mean, if you had to eat one of them.
Oh, if I had to eat one?
Yeah,
a dog. I'd rather eat a dog.
Okay. Sure.
I think a dog. I love dogs. I'm a dog person. But if I'm going to look at an animal and I have to eat them, I'm sorry, cat. There's not a lot to you. Right, a cat's like a rabbit. There's not a lot to it that way. So if we're thinking about the unfortunate aspect of having to kill an animal, then I guess I have to look at the animal like Great Outdoors, fantastic film. Not enough love for Great Outdoors.
It's true.
John Candy, Dan Aykroyd, gotta love it. So good. Should be fun. Yeah, I'd eat a dog, I guess, if I have to.
All right, fair enough.
There's some big dogs, and
I mean, that's true. It would take less of them.
Yeah.
So that's good, I guess.
Terrible question, Brad. Why are you asking me about your dog?
I just had to.
Brad, would you rather eat your wife or your son?
It's complicated. Oh, here we go. Kellen, what's something that instantly makes you feel relaxed?
Oh, coffee. Coffee always. If you put a cup of coffee in my hand, despite the fact that I will get anxious if I drink too much coffee.
Sure, it is a stimulant.
It is a stimulant, but there is something about the coffee being my hand that I just say.
Sure, I'm going to be able to survive this. I'm
going to be okay. I'm about to have the sweet release of coffee, and then I put it to my lips and I'll say,
Sure.
Coffee always relaxes me. A hot shower, a good hot shower always relaxes me. Always very, very nice. Something that always relaxes me. Probably being outside, being out in the outdoors. Like, despite the fact that I almost got hit by lightning, I've got.
I keep almost getting hit by lightning, but the outdoors are great.
Yeah, I've got lots of stories about me almost dying in the outdoors, but that's that's for another episode. Yeah, but I like being outside. Being in the outdoors is always really, really lovely. Yeah, I know.
Let's say my number one is probably canceled plans.
Oh, canceled plans.
Even if it's something that I kind of wanted to do. It just like there's a weird endorphin situation. It's like, oh, I don't have to deal with that thing.
Oh, it's just
yeah.
Being alone, that's always something that helps me feel really relaxed. If I could just if that's similar to like the canceled plans thing. If I could say like, oh, I was supposed to be around a bunch of people and now I can just be alone, or I can just be around like one person. Oh, this is great. So yeah. Brad, what is your favorite scent?
I don't know if I have a favorite scent.
You got to have a favorite scent, Brad. Something you smell. Favorites. Doesn't have to be. It could be food. It could be sort of the sort of maybe it's when you open a package, or the smell of like fresh plastic, or
probably be like a brisket smoking or something.
Oh, okay.
Smoked meat, sort of.
Smoked meat. Okay. Are you're not someone who is scent focused? Then you don't. No. Of your sensations, again, you don't strike me as someone who hears music and is then transported to someplace else.
Not usually.
Not usually. Do you have any sense that is sort of heightened that way, where a heightened sense of touch or sense of taste or sense of sight?
I don't think so. Not really. Okay. I actually have a lot of sense issues where I get overloaded more than anything else, and it's just not enjoyable.
It's not enjoyable. Okay, there you go. So you walk into a perfume shop and you're
bad.
Bad. You go to an EDM concert, you're bad.
Yeah,
you go to an outdoor food festival, bad.
No good. Terrible.
You go to a laser light show.
I could probably deal with a laser light show. That would be okay.
Okay.
But yeah, not huge on that kind of thing.
That's totally fine. I'm a big taste and scent guy, but I think like if I smell something, I'll be like instantly transported. I taste something like, ooh, that's so good. But I can also hear a song and I'm like, I remember the first time I heard that song, and then I start waxing poetically about long lost friends and life on the sea. And
I think maybe my memory is too busted to like the senses don't make those nostalgia connections very much. So I don't know. I just doesn't hit me like that.
Okay.
My brain is Swiss cheese.
Your brain is not Swiss cheese, Brad.
I don't remember a damn thing.
It's fine. It's totally fine. You stay in the present, Brad. You're not burdened by memory.
Necessity. I do. Yes. I have like 3 memories before I was 50.
The Easter Bunny. In a really nice shower.
I mean, some of the showers back then were pretty good.
Oh gosh, showers when you were a child, so good.
Sure. Let's see. Speaking of alone time, what's your favorite thing to do alone that you're willing to admit on a live broadcast?
My favorite thing to do alone, I'll admit, yeah, exactly. My favorite thing to do alone is probably read or cook. Cooking alone is such a nice experience because I can just be like, great, I don't have to worry about anyone else. I can just sit here and cook, and that's all wonderful. Or being alone and just being able to read a book and just being completely engrossed with the prose. It's just perfect that way.
Nice.
Yeah. What about you, Brad?
Probably reading or playing video games.
Yeah.
Just something that I can escape reality for a bit and envelop myself in another world without interruption.
Yeah, I get that. With video games. I think that thing with video games is it's like, because like, and again, like you can think about video games like 10 years ago when it's like more online stuff. You could just play a game and that's what it was, right? Sure. But now with like, as everything is more interconnected, you can't escape the online part of it. You're like, well, I want to just play this game and now I got to deal with somebody chatting me and I just want to tune it all out. So. Yeah,
I almost never play like online stuff like that. And if I do, I turn as much of the social things off as I can usually, at least most of the time. Sometimes I'll poke at it just to see, but I generally just want to play by myself.
Yeah. Brad, 2 questions for you.
Okay.
And again, you can answer this as comfortably as you can on a live recorded broadcast.
Sure.
Brad, what turns you on and what turns you off?
What turns me on? Lots of stuff.
Lots of stuff.
I'm horny, Kellen.
I get it, buddy. I get it. Trust me, there are a lot of people in this chat who want to know.
Sure.
And again, Brad, we could save this for the OnlyFans content as well.
We could get much more explicit, I guess, in the upcoming OnlyFans account that we're somehow planning.
Or save it for the Patreon, wherever you want it to go. You can save some of those spicy takes, but maybe Brad, just maybe give somebody out there just a little taste where if they were near you, they could do something or say something or do something that might turn you on just a little. We're not talking about getting rocket ship to planet Mars. We're talking
sure. The How do I describe this
How
in
do
a
you
reasonably safe for live streaming way? I am very focused on the pleasure of others. Let's say I get pleasure from creating pleasure.
Huh.
So massaging and things like that,
Mm-hmm.
super good.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that I can do that will generate pleasure in another person is generally going to be good for my whole situation.
That is,
which is kind of a win-win in a lot of cases, at least, unless you're like a sadomasochist or something.
Absolutely. I mean, that makes you a probably a generous lover.
Sure.
And
that's had a ton of complaints.
Well,
I mean, I have been married for quite some time too, but still, you know,
we can get your wife on this. We can see if she'll.
I mean, we could get her opinion on
it. And then, Brad, what turns you off? What turns you off?
People that believe in their horoscopes. We were talking a little bit last week. Yeah, any kind of like anti-intellectual thing, any sort of, I don't know. It's like it's a brain thing. Like
it's a brain thing.
I have to be mentally compatible with someone. Like they're much more likely to say something that will turn me off than to like look like something that's going to turn me off. I'm not particularly concerned with aesthetics.
Okay. So let me ask you this, Brad. It's you and your wife. You first met. It's been hot and heavy for a while. You've been giving her a good massage. She's very into it. You went to the Waffle House, had a great time.
Sure.
The deed is about to be done. And you see on her thigh, the inner part of her thigh, she has tattooed Marvin the Martian.
Okay.
And Marvin the Martian is saying something very intellectually wrong. He's saying like the earth is flat, right? Does that work in terms of the aesthetic and the intellectual cognitive dissonance? Would that work for you? Would there be maybe it's not Marvin the Martian. Is there a tattoo that your wife could have had that would have made you say, I'm good.
Yeah, probably. There would be probably some things. Yeah. She had some like astrology thing, or like a quote from Dr. Phil or something would be just like there would be things that would instantly be like, I don't know if I can deal with this.
Oh boy, yes. The reason I say Marvin the Martian is that's mine. If I see a Marvin the Martian tattoo on someone that I am trying to have sex with, I'm like, I'm good. I don't need to do this.
It's fair. He was kind of harsh.
He was harsh. He was very, very harsh. It's good, Brad. Do you got a question for me?
I got a few. Yeah.
Hey, hit me up, man.
What's the most useless talent that you have? Do you have a useless talent? I guess.
Brad, I don't know what a useless talent is because I can justify every single thing I can do.
That's fair,
right? Brad, I went to clown school. I teach people how to do improvisation, right? I have a 300-page book about how to make eggs, right? None of these things are useless to me. They all have purpose and meaning.
Sure. But, okay, so let me rephrase because I know that you are intelligent and empathetic and sympathetic enough to process. What do you think is a skill that you have that other people would think is useless?
I believe so I have a really refined palate, right?
Okay, sure.
And I really enjoy when people ask me about how my food tastes, how my coffee tastes, how the whiskey or the wine tastes, because I love to be like, "Ooh, I'm tasting this, and I taste this. This is really, really nice." I don't think a lot of people find value in that. Because I've been like, "Oh man, do you taste this?" And people are like, "Ugh, this fucking hipster guy who's like, I love the body on this." Like, I think, especially here in the Midwest, food is such a utility. It's not meant to be like enjoyed that way. It's like, yeah, it's a fucking burger. Let's move on. Why are you drinking your coffee like you're some sort of weirdo, right? Like, I think like for coffee specifically, the fact that I will sit and spend the time to make a cup of coffee for myself or I'll make an espresso that way and I'll sit there and I'll enjoy it. I think a lot of people would see that is a useless skill that I have. The fact that I am a trained, I have a certified, I've gone to New York City and I have a certified barista training in terms of I could put that on my CV in terms of doing those things to know all of that stuff. That's completely useless to some people, but it's extremely useful to me. So.
Sure. Well, I am a certified whiskey sommelier, so I'm in sort of the same ballpark there in a lot of ways.
Brad,
for
absolutely.
Sure.
When we eventually meet up, we will sit there and we will sip our whiskey and drink our coffee and we'll be like,
absolutely. We could be so snooty about it. It'll be great.
Absolutely. And no one will look at us and not say, of course those two are doing that. Look at us. I'm wearing goddamn overalls. Of course I'm doing
sense. Makes total sense.
Total sense. I think it's just a hard thing because it's like useless is so like I'm like I can justify every dialect I can do that I learned in acting school to be like, yeah, I don't need to show you that I can do a South African accent because there's no need for it, right? But for me, I'm like, I know how to do that. I know I can do these sort of things. So like it's all just Brad.
Yes, Kellen.
If you had to live on another planet in our solar system, what planet would it be and why?
Do I have the required equipment to survive on said planet?
Yes. I'm not
it's complicated.
I'm sending you to your death if you go and live on Europa, right? And that's I'm like, if you live on Saturn or one of the gas giants, you can live on one of the moons that way because you can't live on a gas giant.
Sure. Like in again, like that doesn't sound.
It doesn't really sound
in Saturn doesn't.
Maybe you live on like Bespin and you live on a cloud city on on Neptune. That would be interesting, right?
There is that. Just a big disc that you like manage to fit in the right place so that it doesn't just float away, or
right.
That would be very complicated, but cool.
Very cool.
I would probably just go practical and go Mars.
Go Mars, huh?
Yeah.
Not Mercury, not Venus, going Mars.
Yeah. Temperature-wise, seems easier to survive. Like that, so I'm boring like that. I'll just
is there would you want to do anything on Mars? Would there be a reason you'd want to go to Mars to say, oh, I'd want to see this, or
other than like watching the Earth rising? That would be cool. Not really anything specific. I'm not particularly adventurous, Kellen. So like I can't think of anything that I would really like want to do in space other than be like, I'm in space.
I'm in space.
Like it's cool because I'm in space, I guess. Whatever. I don't know. Yeah. I'm gonna go read or play video games.
There you
go. It doesn't matter where I am.
There you go. Brad, do you have a favorite space program? Not a movie, a program about people in space. Mine is Firefly. I think Firefly of all the space programs is the most like, we may be there one day, right? Like in terms of, I can see us here getting there.
Sure.
In terms of like, not the technology part, but like the us part of it. The Star Trek technology stuff. I'm always like, I can't relate to it because I don't know if we're ever going to be there. Something about Firefly, I'm like, yeah, that's if we go to space, it's going to be shitty like this.
Sure. Most spaceships are cobbled together.
Yeah, and then there's big corporations that ruin things for everyone, and then there are cannibals who live out in deep space. Like all of that stuff. I'm like, yep, this is how it goes.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, not at all realistic, but my favorite would probably be Red Dwarf.
Oh, Red Dwarf is great. Red Dwarf is so good. Red Dwarf doesn't get enough credit for being as funny as it is.
Really,
right?
Good.
It's super, super funny, but I mean,
it mostly still holds up.
Yeah,
because the effects were always bad, so it doesn't like. It's not like it looks terrible because of the effects, because it always looked that terrible.
But that was the point of it, though. It was supposed to be that way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It just means that it is easier to be more timeless.
Yes.
Because it doesn't sort of hit that part of your brain like, oh, this would be good if the graphics were good.
Yes. It doesn't have the Stargate SG-1 problem.
Oh, yeah. Oh, oof. Yeah, exactly.
Stargate. You got another question for me, Brad?
Of course.
Please, lay it on me.
Oh, here's one. I don't know, 15 minutes? Okay, sure. Kellen, what's the next phase of human evolution, do you think?
Well, we got to figure out this whole climate and like environmental and economic thing, right? So I guess when I think about evolution, we think about biological evolution, right? Like, are we talking about in the true Darwinian
talk
sense?
About biological evolution, or you could talk about society, I guess.
Yeah, I guess
they're sort of combined at this point. We're sort of short-circuiting most normal ways that evolution happens. For example, we're both wearing glasses right now.
Exactly, right?
And is anti-evolutionary, essentially.
Yes. Both of us, based on our childhood, should not have sired children and passed our genes down. We should both be.
I would have been dead long ago.
Long ago, right? We're thinking about survival of the fittest. I was born with a broken collarbone. That should have been it for me.
Yep.
So, I think in terms of we are not going to evolve as our biological species until certain things sort of happen in our environment and within our society. So if we're thinking about the environment, I think the environment is naturally tied to the economy. We have to completely disrupt whatever is going on in the economy, or else the environment will continue to fall further and further apart. So without necessarily getting too much on the soapbox, excuse me, I would imagine that an evolution that we will see maybe in our lifetime will either something like a mega city where there will just be more and more people together in one sort of place so that resources can be combined, or we will go to something like hundreds of thousands of small 25,000 people towns to make sure that like the sort of internal resources of a town can be managed that way, right? In terms of saying, hey, 25,000 people, we know we can feed these people. We know we have the resources around the town. We know that this is good at 25,000 people max. Anybody else wants to move in, we got to do something else. You have kids, we got to figure out something else that way. I think
so. It's the Matrix or ant farms.
Yeah, it kind of feels that way, right? It's either like there has to be some sort of like mega city where it's like all the infrastructure is really dense and all the people are really integrated, and there's not really room for like racism and hate. It's just like, well, we all live here in this bubble and we all have to fucking get along. It's that or Snowpiercer, right? It's like that's the thing. It's like that's the third option is Snowpiercer, and it's just the long caste system of life. So I think if we could figure that out, I think we could at least stabilize things for long enough for some sort of biological evolution to sort of happen, or a forced evolution in terms of saying, hey, we figured out technology to a point where we can, and we've talked about this many, many times, we can offload our brains and our consciousness into some sort of form, or we understand what consciousness sort of is in terms of the sort of chemical and bioelectric sort of elements in our brain, and are allowed to recreate that in a some sort of sentient robot form. I'm not saying we're going to go like Vision from the Avengers sort of situation that way. I don't think we're ever going to get there, where we're going to have supercomputers that can think. But I mentioned this on a couple episodes before. I really do love this idea of we will probably have sort of a symbiotic relationship with sort of a semi-sentient robot, but the robots will be like big children, and we will need the artists. Again, this is my, romantic sort of sense on it, right? We'll have these big, dumb, like kaiju fighting robots, and then we will have poets and artists who help the robots understand why they need to protect humanity by saying like, here, listen to Bob Dylan. Right? Like, here, you need to hear this Joni Mitchell song. That's why we need to kill the monsters, right? That's why the demons coming out of the hellscape need to be stopped, robot. Sure. Otherwise.
Sure. Now, I don't want to alarm you, Kellen, but that does sound like the first act of a disaster movie.
I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it's not. I'm saying here we have what's going to happen is we're going to get the nice society going. Then the kaiju or the demon hell will open up. We'll have to come up with some robots. It's somewhat Evangelion sort of situation where it's like we need, again, emotional teenagers to go into these robots to go and fight the angels so that society can exist again.
I mean, watch it.
We've got 5 minutes left, and I'm more than going to talk about Evangelion at length because I know no one else is here, and that's fine.
There are 3 people watching, and one of them might have seen it, but I haven't, so I would be able to help you very much.
Brad, that's after we watch the 285 episodes of The Big Bang Theory. We will watch Evangelion, and you will hate watching because you're like, Kellen, what the fuck is this? And
I could just yell at you about it every time.
You'll say, Kellen, I'd rather watch Hellier.
Yikes. Glowing review. I'd rather watch it.
I love Evangelion. It's much, much better than Hellier. It's just, it is poetic to a default. It is trying way, way too hard. It's intentionally trying to upset its audience. It's esoteric in the best way possible.
Sure. I have heard a lot of good things. Just for whatever reason, I've never started that whole rabbit hole.
There are better animes to watch, man. That's the thing about Evangelion. It's not an anime that's going to make you say like, "Oh, you have to watch it." It is. Here we go. It's the infinite jest of anime, right? It's a thing that the people who watch it, they're like, "Oh yeah, I've watched all of Evangelion," and you're like, "Okay, I get it." And I'm one of those people, right?
I've definitely read the first 2 or 3 chapters of Infinite Jest like 4 times.
Yes.
and not right? Gone further than that.
It's like, oh, I've read Infinite Jest or I've read Gravity's Rainbow. That's how if you tell me that, I know everything I know about you. And I've read both of those books many, many times before, right? But those are esoteric, difficult books. And Evangelion's exactly the same way. It is esoteric and difficult on purpose so that the people who watch it can feel good about themselves and the people who don't are like, what am I watching here?
Fair enough.
Yeah. What's the most esoteric thing besides whiskey that you were into, Brad?
That's a good question.
There you go.
The weirdest esoteric thing. I don't know. My tastes in things tend to be very direct.
There you go. Again, it's a very Canadian thing.
Probably the closest thing would be like unironically enjoying bad movies, but I don't think that's the exact direction that you wanted.
No, but I understand you have an esoteric taste in bad movies. You're not watching bad movies for schlock's sake. You're looking at it with an esoteric mindset. So yes. Brad, I am out of questions for you today.
You're out of?
I'm out of questions. I've got a fun thing that we're going to do next week. A very fun thing we're going to do next week. We're going to work on a little project together.
A little project. Okay.
Yes.
Well, would you like one more probably quick, silly question?
Let's hear one more quick, silly question. Then.
If you were arrested, what would your friends and family think you were arrested for if they hadn't heard the news yet?
If I was arrested, what would my friends and family think I was arrested for? Probably a peaceful demonstration. They would probably think that I was arrested on something like that in terms of, Kellen was probably downtown in front of the mayor's office and he got arrested because he was sitting and they needed to arrest him that way. That would probably be the most likely reason that I would have gotten arrested then. Sure. Yes. Yeah. What about you, Brad? Embezzlement?
Sure. Probably like in connection to like someone that I knew back when I was in hacking stuff.
Sure.
Sort of a, pull in all of their connections kind of situation. Or like just a random street fight.
There you go. Yeah. Just a random street fight. And you're like, well, dangerous
like
weapon.
Defending someone and got into like a serious fight where the cops had to show up and just arrest everyone and figure it out.
Throw you in the back of the paddy wagon. You're in the back with the Joker, and the Joker's like, "Oh, I got these scars," something like that.
That's a little more intense, probably, than the reality of it. But sure. Let's say I don't necessarily think through the consequence of my actions when I feel like I need to intervene in situations in the world. And so that could potentially get me into legal trouble.
Brad, I know this about you. I know this about you, and I love this about you.
Like, usually, I would say it's probably good overall, but it could definitely be problematic in specific situations.
But here's the thing, Brad. You would get arrested. You wouldn't get charged. You'd get released. You would the police officers would probably shake your hand and say, "Hey, you did a good job. We just got arrested. We had to bring you downtown to figure things out." I don't know how Canadian law works, Brad. I don't know if you have certain sort of things. All I know is here in America, the police are fucking pigs, and they're all terrible. So
there's a lot of that. A lot of that too. Maybe not quite to the same level as the U.S., but it's definitely not terribly different.
Yes. Well, on that note,
on that cheery note,
Brad, as always, this is an absolute pleasure. Again, I am so happy that we took this quiz and we learned that you were a true neutral. I already knew that. You already knew that. That was good. You did a great job answering the questions. Yeah, I thank you for everyone for joining us. And if you're watching this in the past, thank you for watching this. Brad and I do this every single week, 9:30 Central, 10:30 Eastern. Thank you for joining us.
And we're about to have a new podcast.
We're about to have a new podcast too. Check out for that whenever we figure out the name. Here we go, Brad. The beginning of the next episode. If we don't already have if we don't already have a name for the podcast, that's how we should have started. We should ask people, hey, what do we name this show?
Sure.
Right? So we'll figure that out. Yeah. Thanks everyone. Thank you, Brad. You're wonderful as always.
Always the highlight of my week.
Oh my gosh.
Always great.
Yeah. Okay. Bye everyone.
See you later, everybody.